Two things people do that immediately decreases their value and they don't even know it. Two things. I'm going to put you on game. Some more shit that I recognize as a Sigma male. I peep out a lot of shit. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of shit that I don't pay attention to. We all got strengths and weaknesses. So while I might be over here curling, lifting 600, 700 pounds, I'm also helpless over here when a fucking feather falls on me. It's just how shit goes. So here's two things that men and women do. Just about everybody does it, but here's two things that people do that immediately decreases their value and they don't even know it. The first thing that people do, a lot of women do it, a lot of men do it. Like I say, everybody does it. But here's probably the main number one thing that people do that decreases their value. You chase. You chase. I don't mean to pursue. You chase. You look desperate. You overly pursue. And it could be someone you're interested in. It could be a job. It could be acceptance. It could be affection. It could be anything. But in particular, when you're dealing with other people, when you chase, when you put yourself out there, when you're always available, when you go out of your way to be there for someone. Now, for some people, they can turn that into a strength when they're giving. But even then, it can bite them in the ass when they're dealing with someone who's constantly taking from them while they're constantly giving. It's imbalanced. So I guess even then, still, like a certain amount of the value is given away. When you chase, think about this. Like I said, this goes for men and women. You're out there dating, you're out there kicking it with people, even when it comes to friendship. When you're the person, I'm just going to be raw about it, when you're the person that's always doing the calling, what's everybody doing? What's going on? Hey, you want to get together this night? You want to go out? You know, what do you want to do? When you're the person that's always just ready to be down, ready to be included, that doesn't have to be a bad thing. That's a beautiful thing. There are a lot of people in this world who are fucking rigid, who are not flexible. Everything has to be about them and how they do it and what they want. It can be a real blessing to deal with and interact with people who are like, hey, what's going on? What's going down? What do you have planned? What are y'all doing? I want to be a part of it. So I'm not saying it's a negative thing. I'm not saying it's a negative thing. What I am saying, though, is when you chase too much, when you overly pursue, you inherently decrease your value. If you're out here dating and you are always available when that person calls, whatever that person wants to do, you're down to do it. Whenever they want to do it, you're available. You've decreased your value because that person now knows, either consciously or subconsciously, they can TiVo your ass. They got you on fucking remote. Speed dial even. They don't even remember your number anymore. They just press a button and there you appear. It's like that now. When someone's really into you, they fucking remember your number. You know why? Because they don't want to lose it. They remember certain details about you. You know why? Because they're either interested in it or because they want to go a little bit deeper with learning more about you. When you're always fucking available, when you chase someone, you've given them everything. You want to give them everything. And so they now know there's something weird about human behavior. A lot of women do it, but a lot of men do it too. When you give it to them, they don't want it as much anymore. They might still appreciate it. They might still like it. They might still want it, but just not as much because you've given it so much. So that's partially where the expression absence makes the heart grow fonder. That's related to that. Now, if you keep it away from that person, they might, they could start thinking differently and shit could go in the opposite direction, in the bad direction. But the point being is when you chase, when you overly pursue, whether it's, like I say, a person, a relationship, even a job, occupation, when you overly pursue, you kind of decrease your value. And it's not your fault. But, on a certain level, it's also related to supply and demand. This is a capitalist society, mostly a capitalist world. Supply and demand matters. And when you make yourself supremely available, when, hey, you got to catch me, what I'm saying, when we got to schedule things because my time is precious. Time is the most valuable commodity we have. Even the expression pay attention. You're not actually paying anything, but you're paying what? So time is valuable. If I give you, we're not talking about an occupation where you're paying me. We're not talking about even an investment. Well, it kind of is an investment. But if I give you all of my time, I've made you powerful. Because you've got your time. And now you've got me on hold, on speed dial? No. So, dudes, ladies, when you chase, you may really want that person. You may really want that outcome. But when you chase it, when you pursue it, you think you are dotting the I's and crossing the T's to make it happen, you're also kind of decreasing your value. And it's not really your fault. Second thing people do, when they are agreeable with everything that person or that situation presents, you find yourself compromising morals. You don't really know what you think. Now, you know what I hate seeing, especially as a single male? I fucking hate seeing this. Whenever I see this, it makes me cringe. And I hope that I never do this. When I see someone in a group of people and this person is trying to essentially agree with whatever the mood of the group is, and then you see maybe the mood of the group shift, and now that person doesn't quite know how to respond because they don't want to be on the opposite side of whatever the group mood is. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if I can bring up a specific instance or detail, but you know it when you see it. And you be kind of be like, man, do you have a fucking thought of your own? Just say whatever the fuck it is that you want to say, because if you put it out there, there's probably somebody else in the group that thinks like how you think. And they're just afraid to say it, or they said it and nobody else said anything. So now at least if you say what's authentically what you're thinking, yeah, some people in the group might be against it. It might not be what the group mood is right now. But it might come around to that once other people have put what they think out there. And now you look like somebody that was ahead of the times. You look like somebody that knew what the fuck was going on before everybody else, instead of you being a fucking coward and giving away all of your value because I'm waiting to see what somebody else says so I can fucking agree with them. So a lot of men, a lot of women, like I say, you're trying to get that girl, you're trying to get that dude, trying to get that person with money, trying to get that model, whoever the fuck it is. I made a similar video about just that whole dynamic of ways that when you're trying to acquire something, a lot of times you just got to do you. You just got to authentically do you. And if it comes to you, it's the sweetest thing ever. But when you chase it, when you try to manufacture it, somehow it don't go quite like how you want it to go. So that's why you just got to be authentic. So if you come across somebody and you all agree on everything, that's pretty sweet. It's short-lived, but it's pretty sweet. But when you are actively trying to, you think somehow this is going to make you and this person bond. It's going to make you and this person become one. And so if I just finish this person's sentences, like, no, it don't work like that. That shit's got to be authentic. And it would be exhausting for the person that's fronting, for the person that's, not being real. And then once the other person finds out, subconsciously or consciously, they're like, oh, you are agreeing with everything that I say? What else could I make you agree to do or agree with? Decreases your value. So what I find healthy, what I actually really kind of like as a Sigma male, is I like not necessarily disagreeing with somebody, but I like an exchange of ideas. I like an exchange of viewpoints. So even if I disagree with it, it still might have some nuggets of information that I could use going forward. So I'm not opposed to a different viewpoint. I'm not opposed to someone providing a different perspective, because it can enhance and broaden my shit. So why, so I don't mind being in a nice, you know what? And this can get me in trouble a lot of times, but I can have like a nice rhythm with somebody, we can be vibing, especially when it's opposite sex. But within that vibe, within that rhythm, I throw something out there that challenges them. That's not just agreeable. That doesn't just go along with everything they say. They just said something. Here's an example, a quick example. Could be kicking with somebody and they're like, yeah, no, I pretty much like most music. They'll say something like that. And then, I could drop something out there like that, but, how much music have you heard? And that challenges them. It makes them think for a second, well, like, yeah, I guess there might be some stuff I haven't really heard of, or like you only know what you know. And so, like, while we're vibing and while we're in a nice little rhythm, you hit them with something that makes them think, and it's not, antagonistic. It doesn't put you on the opposite sides of each other. It just lets them know that when I'm vibing with you, it's authentic. When I give you a compliment, it's fucking real. I'm not saying this shit to get on your good side. What fucking difference does that make to me? I'm about something that's authenticity. So anyway, get back to what I'm saying. Two things. When you are constantly available, your time is now given to them, you've decreased your value, flat out. No matter how nice you are about it, you've kind of decreased your value in a certain way. And when you agree with everything they say, I've seen people do it. Oh my God, I almost want to throw up. You decrease your value because now you've become a puppet. Dance, monkey, dance. You know what I'm saying? Sing me a song, bitch. But now, here's one thing that you can do. Anybody can do this. Shit that I'm saying applies to men and women. But here's one thing you can do that in a certain subconscious, subliminal way will raise your value. Real simple. You ready for it? Eye contact. Solid, consistent, confident, unwavering eye contact. Now, you don't have to be creepy. No. But you have to, and it can't really be fake, I guess. For many people, it's something that they'll have to practice with. I do remember a point in time in my life, I will say probably before I was 16, so say sub 16. Eye contact was a little tricky. It seemed a little confrontational. Maybe someone's talking to you, they're instructing you about something, and so it was just kind of difficult to hear what they're saying and also look at them at the same time. But I don't know, something happened. I don't know exactly what age or what time period, but somewhere after 16, I don't know if it was from me starting to get involved with business and have to deal with sales, if it was me doing different stuff like acting and getting on stage, or trying to holler and get some fucking pussy. I don't know. Excuse my language. I've said worse. But the point being is at some point in time, eye contact it stopped to becoming a problem. It became a strength. And you gotta think about it. Someone who is in a position of power, they either will look at you or they won't pay you no fucking attention. But when they look at you, you see what I'm saying? They're not gonna look at you and be taught. No, most people who are in a real position of power, either internally or externally, they're either not gonna pay you any attention until they need to pay you some attention. Because now they're paying their time. So when they're looking at you, they're either saying something to you or they're reading you. But they're here with it. So I'm not saying that every powerful person, can stare a hole through you. And I'm not saying that every person who can stare a hole through you is a powerful person. But what I am saying is subconsciously, you can raise your value in almost any situation. The more and the better you become at giving eye contact. That's all. Very simple. Just like I said in those other two ways, you decrease your value by always being available. You decrease your value by always being agreeable. You agree with everything they say and do. Well, you raise your value in a certain level. Very stealthy, very subconscious, very subliminal. Just by fucking eye contact. It can be anybody in the world. And if we're talking, if they've got my attention, if I've got their attention, I'm right here with it. You know what I'm saying? Of course, I'm a Sigma male, so of course I'm going to check out and observe different other things, but when we talking, it's right here. Now, I've even heard of some powerful people who, when they come across someone who is giving them good, solid, consistent eye contact, it exposes some of the weaknesses and the fragilities that they have about themselves. And so then they have to attack or, threaten people with that type of eye contact. Don't look at me. Don't look directly at me. Don't look directly at me. Why? If you're so big and fucking powerful, what does little old me how does that bother you, me looking at you? And that's because they know that good, solid, consistent, confident eye contact, it's got some power to it. So anyway, I just thought that was something else I would drop, some other shit that I've observed in my lifetime, in my brief long years, just some other shit that I've observed that has worked for me. It's worked for other people. I don't know if it's just a Sigma male thing that we observe or whatever. Peep it out in your life. Tell me if you agree or disagree. Check out some of the other channels on the channel page. Also check out some of my videos on my 24-hour channel. You can check that out at 24hourstreaming.com. It's the Diversified Channel. It's 24 hours. Anyway, I'll get at you.